They say the best love stories start with a rescue. Zara saved a lost child and found herself staring into the most beautiful eyes she had ever seen. His father. His grateful, gorgeous, completely off-limits father. What she didn't know was that he was already falling for her, too. The rain hammered down on 6th Street in Austin, Texas, turning the sidewalk into a river. Zara Uwasi pulled her thin jacket tighter, wishing she had remembered her umbrella. The library had kept her longer than expected, and now the October sky was dark and angry. She was thinking about tomorrow's lesson plan when she heard it. A small, broken sound cutting through the rain, crying. A child crying. Zara stopped walking. She turned her head, listening. There it was again, coming from the direction of Pease Park. Every instinct told her to investigate. She had been a teacher for 5 years back in Rwanda before moving to America, and 3 years here in Austin. She knew the sound of a child in trouble. She found him huddled under an oak tree, shivering so hard his whole body shook. He couldn't have been older than 5 or 6, wearing expensive clothes that were now soaked through. His black hair stuck to his forehead, and his face was red from crying. "Hey there," Zara said softly, crouching down to his level. "Are you okay?" The boy looked up at her with wide, terrified eyes. He said something in a language she didn't understand. Korean, maybe. He started crying harder. Zara didn't hesitate. She pulled off her jacket and wrapped it around his small shoulders. "It's okay. You're safe now. I'm going to help you." The boy didn't understand her words, but he understood her tone. He let her pick him up. He was so cold. How long had he been out here? She carried him quickly to the nearest coffee shop 6 blocks away. Her shirt was soaked by the time she pushed through the door, but she didn't care. The warmth hit them both like a hug. "Oh my goodness," the barista said. "Is he okay?" "I found him in the park, alone. Can you call the police?" Zara sat down with the boy in her lap, rubbing his arms to warm him up. The barista nodded and reached for the phone. Another worker brought over a blanket and a cup of hot chocolate. Zara held the cup to the boy's lips. "Drink. It will help." He took a sip, then another. Slowly, his shivering stopped. He looked up at Zara with those big eyes and said something in Korean again. "I don't understand," Zara said gently, "but you're safe, I promise." She tried to keep him calm while they waited. She showed him pictures on her phone. She made funny faces, anything to keep him from crying again. He even smiled once, just a little. 20 minutes passed. Then she heard tires screech outside. Through the window, she saw a black car pull up so fast it almost hit the curb. A man jumped out, not even bothering to close the door behind him. He burst into the coffee shop and Zara's breath caught. He was tall and broad-shouldered, wearing a suit that probably cost more than her monthly rent. His dark hair was messy like he had been running his hands through it, but it was his face that made her freeze. Strong jaw, intense eyes that were scanning the room with desperate fear, and features that would make anyone look twice. Those eyes landed on the boy in Zara's arms. "Taemin!" The man rushed forward, dropping to his knees in front of them. He grabbed the boy, checking him over with shaking hands, speaking rapid Korean. The boy burst into fresh tears, but happy ones this time. "Appa! Appa!" The man held his son tight, his eyes squeezed shut. Zara could see his chest heaving. When he finally opened his eyes and looked at her, the gratitude in them was so intense it made her heart skip. "Thank you," he said, his voice rough with emotion. His English had a slight accent that made the words sound musical. "Thank you for saving my son." "I just found him," Zara said. "Anyone would have done the same." "No." The man shook his head firmly. He shifted Taemin to one hip and extended his other hand. "I'm Joon-Woo Park. This is Taemin. We owe you everything." Zara shook his hand. His grip was warm and strong. "Zara Uwase. I'm just glad he's okay. What happened?" Joon-Woo's jaw tightened. "We were at a business event at the hotel down the street. I turned my back for 1 minute to sign a document. When I looked back, he was gone. I've been searching for an hour." He looked down at his son, fear still visible in his eyes. An hour. "He's safe now," Zara said softly. Joon-Woo looked at her again, really looked at her this time. Zara felt heat rise in her cheeks. She was aware of how she must look, soaked and shivering in just her thin shirt. Her brown skin was probably covered in goosebumps. Her natural hair, usually styled nicely, was plastered to her head. But Joon-Woo wasn't looking at her like she was a mess. He was looking at her like she was something precious. "Please," he said, "let me do something to thank you. Dinner, tomorrow night. Both of you deserve so much more, but it's a start." "That's not necessary," Zara started to say. "Please," Taemin suddenly said in English, tugging on her wet sleeve. "Please come." Zara blinked in surprise. So he did know some English. Joon-Woo smiled at his son, then looked back at Zara. "It seems we both want you to say yes." Something in his smile made Zara's stomach flutter. She told herself it was just because he was grateful, nothing more. But when their eyes met again, she felt that same electric current that had passed between them when he first saw her holding his son. "Okay," she heard herself say. "Dinner." Joon-Woo's smile grew wider. "Tomorrow, 7 o'clock, I'll pick you up. What's your address?" Zara gave him the information, still not quite believing she had agreed. The police arrived then, and she had to give a statement about finding Taemin. Through it all, she felt Joon-Woo's eyes on her. When everything was done, Joon-Woo walked her to the door. The rain had stopped, leaving the street clean and shining. "Thank you again," he said quietly. Taemin was half asleep on his shoulder. "You saved the most important person in my world." "I'm glad I was there," Zara replied. Joon-Woo hesitated, like he wanted to say something else. Instead, he just smiled. "Tomorrow, 7 o'clock, don't forget." "I won't." Zara walked home in a daze. Her apartment felt empty and cold when she got there. She changed into dry clothes and made tea, trying to process what had just happened. She had saved a lost child. That was all. The child's father was grateful. That was normal. The dinner was just a thank you, nothing special. But as she lay in bed that night, she couldn't stop thinking about Joon-Woo's eyes, the way he had looked at her, the warmth of his hand, the sound of his voice. Stop it, she told herself. He's just being polite. But deep down, she knew it was more than that. She had felt something when their eyes met, something she hadn't felt in 3 years of living in America, something she thought she might never feel again after leaving Rwanda and the painful family drama behind. The next evening, Zara changed her outfit 5 times. She told herself she just wanted to look presentable, nothing more. But her hands were shaking as she applied lip gloss. At exactly 7 o'clock, there was a knock on her door. Joon-Woo stood there in dark jeans and a crisp white shirt, casual but still somehow elegant. Taemin held his hand, wearing a little suit that made Zara's heart melt. "You look beautiful," Joon-Woo said, his eyes warm. "Thank you," Zara managed. "You both look very handsome." Taemin giggled and held up a drawing. "For you." Zara took it. The picture showed 3 stick figures, 1 tall man, 1 little boy, and 1 woman with curly hair. They were all smiling. "It's us," Taemin explained proudly. Zara looked up at Joon-Woo, who had the grace to look slightly embarrassed. "He insisted on drawing it," Joon-Woo said, but Zara saw something else in his expression. Hope? Interest? The same thing she was feeling. This wasn't just a thank you dinner. This was the beginning of something neither of them had expected. And as they walked to his car, with Taemin chattering happily between them, Zara felt her carefully built walls start to crack. She had come to America to escape, to start over, to be alone. But maybe, just maybe, being alone wasn't what she needed after all. The restaurant was beautiful. Soft lighting, jazz music playing quietly, and a corner table that felt private despite being in a room full of people. Taemin sat between them, munching happily on breadsticks while Joon-Woo and Zara talked. "So you're a teacher?" Joon-Woo asked, leaning forward with genuine interest. "Second grade at Willow Creek Elementary," Zara confirmed. "I teach reading and math. The kids are wonderful." "You must be good with children. Tae-min trusted you immediately." Zara smiled at the boy, who grinned back with tomato sauce on his face. "Children can sense when someone cares about them." "How long have you been in Austin?" 3 years. I came from Rwanda for graduate school and decided to stay." Joon-Woo's eyes lit up with curiosity. "Rwanda? I've never been to East Africa. What made you choose Texas?" This was always the hard part of the story. Zara kept her voice casual. "I needed a fresh start. New country, new life." Something flickered in Joon-Woo's expression. Understanding, maybe. Like he recognized the pain of running from something. "I understand that feeling," he said quietly. Their eyes met across the table, and Zara felt that electric current again, stronger this time. Tae-min yawned loudly, breaking the moment. They all laughed. "Someone's tired," Joon-Woo said, ruffling his son's hair. Dinner continued with easier topics. Joon-Woo told funny stories about Tae-min learning English. Zara shared stories about her students. The conversation flowed like they had known each other for years instead of one day. When Joon-Woo drove them back to her apartment, Tae-min was asleep in his car seat. "Thank you for tonight," Zara said softly, not wanting to wake the boy. "Can I see you again?" Joon-Woo asked. No pretense this time, just honest interest. Zara's heart pounded. "I don't know if that's a good idea." "Why not?" "You don't know anything about me." "Then let me learn." Joon-Woo's voice was warm. "Have coffee with me, Saturday morning. Just coffee." Zara knew she should say no, but when she looked at him, at the hope in his eyes, she couldn't. "Just coffee," she agreed. His smile could have lit up the entire city. Saturday morning turned into Saturday afternoon. They talked for 4 hours at a small cafe, and Zara learned that Joon-Woo owned 3 technology companies. He had built them from nothing after coming to America for college 15 years ago. "And Tae-min's mother?" Zara asked carefully. Joon-Woo's expression darkened. "Divorced 2 years ago. She left us." "I'm sorry." "Don't be. It was for the best." He paused, then added, "She wasn't who I thought she was." Zara understood that feeling too. The next week, Joon-Woo found reasons to see her almost every day. He brought Tae-min to her classroom after school, supposedly so the boy could practice English. He invited her to the Children's Museum on Sunday. He texted her good morning every day, and Zara, despite her better judgment, let herself fall. 2 weeks after that rainy night, everything changed. Joon-Woo picked her up after work. No Tae-min this time. The boy was at his grandfather's house for the evening. "I want to show you something," Joon-Woo said. He drove them to Mount Bonnell, overlooking the city. The sun was setting, painting the sky orange and pink. They stood at the overlook, and Zara felt Joon-Woo move closer. His hand found hers, their fingers intertwining naturally. "I can't stop thinking about you," he said quietly. Zara's breath caught. "Joon-Woo, I know it's only been 2 weeks. I know it's fast, but I've never felt like this before, not even with her." He turned to face her fully, and Zara saw everything in his eyes: want, need, fear, hope. "I feel it too," she whispered. That was all the permission he needed. Joon-Woo cupped her face gently and kissed her. The world disappeared. There was only the warmth of his lips, the strength of his hands, the racing of her heart. The kiss was soft at first, questioning, then deeper, more urgent. Zara's hands fisted in his shirt, pulling him closer. When they finally broke apart, both breathing hard, Joon-Woo rested his forehead against hers. "Stay with me tonight," he whispered. Zara knew what he was asking. She should think about it, be careful, protect her heart. But when she looked into his eyes, she saw something she hadn't seen in 3 years. Home. "Yes," she breathed. They barely made it through the door of his penthouse apartment. Joon-Woo kissed her against the elevator wall in the hallway, pressing her against the door as he fumbled with his keys. Inside, they left a trail of clothes from the entrance to the bedroom. When Joon-Woo laid her on his bed, he paused, looking down at her with such tenderness that Zara felt tears prick her eyes. "You're beautiful," he said. "So are you." They made love slowly, learning each other. Joon-Woo was gentle but passionate, his hands and lips exploring every inch of her skin. Zara gave herself completely, trusting him in a way she hadn't trusted anyone in years. Afterward, she lay in his arms, feeling his heart beat against her back. "I wasn't looking for this," Joon-Woo said into the darkness. "After my divorce, I promised myself I'd focus only on Tae-min. No distractions, no complications." "What changed?" Zara asked. "You. The moment I saw you holding my son, keeping him safe, I knew you were different." Zara turned to face him. "My family wanted me to marry someone I didn't love, a man from a wealthy family. It would have been good for business, they said. I refused, and they disowned me. I haven't spoken to them in 3 years." Joon-Woo pulled her closer. "Their loss. Do you regret it? Your marriage?" "I regret trusting the wrong person. My ex-wife cheated on me with my business partner. When I found out, she didn't apologize. She just demanded money in the divorce. Millions. She got it, but she didn't fight for custody of Tae-min. That told me everything I needed to know about what she valued. I'm sorry." "Don't be. It brought me here. To you." They kissed again, and soon talking was forgotten. The next morning, Zara woke up to Joon-Woo watching her sleep. "How long have you been awake?" she asked. "An hour. I couldn't stop looking at you." Zara blushed. "That's creepy." "That's romance," Joon-Woo corrected with a grin. He kissed her nose. "Stay for breakfast. I make excellent pancakes." "You cook?" "I'm a man of many talents." They spent the morning in comfortable domesticity. Joon-Woo did make excellent pancakes. They laughed and talked and kissed over coffee. It felt easy. Right. When Zara's phone buzzed with a text from her friend, reality intruded. "I should go," she said reluctantly. "I have papers to grade." "Or," Joon-Woo said, wrapping his arms around her waist, "you could stay and grade them here." Zara laughed. "I wouldn't get any work done." "Is that a bad thing?" He kissed her neck, and Zara felt her resolve weakening. "Joon-Woo," she said, but it came out breathless. "Stay," he murmured against her skin. "Please." She stayed. Over the next month, they fell deeper. Joon-Woo took her to business dinners and introduced her as his girlfriend. Zara spent weekends with him and Tae-min, the 3 of them becoming a little family. The boy started calling her Miss Zara and insisted she tuck him in at night. Every moment felt perfect. Too perfect. Zara knew that perfection never lasted. She had learned that lesson back in Rwanda, but she pushed the worry away and let herself be happy, until the day Joon-Woo's past came knocking. He was at a business meeting in Houston and asked Zara to join him for the weekend. They left Tae-min with his grandfather and drove 2 hours south. The hotel room overlooked the city. As soon as the door closed behind them, Joon-Woo pulled Zara into his arms. "I've been waiting all week for this," he murmured. "We saw each other yesterday," Zara teased. "Too long." They made love with familiar passion, their bodies knowing each other now. Afterward, lying tangled in expensive sheets, Joon-Woo traced patterns on her shoulder. "I love you," he said suddenly. Zara's breath stopped. They hadn't said those words yet. "You don't have to say it back," Joon-Woo continued quickly. "I just needed you to know. I love you, Zara. You and Tae-min are my whole world now." Zara felt tears slide down her cheeks. Happy tears. "I love you too," she whispered. Joon-Woo kissed her deeply, and they made love again, slower this time, savoring every touch. That weekend felt like a dream. They explored Houston, ate amazing food, and spent hours in bed learning new ways to make each other gasp. On Sunday morning, Zara woke up wrapped in Joon-Woo's arms and thought that maybe, just maybe, she could have her happy ending after all. She should have known better. The first sign of trouble came that afternoon when they got back to Austin. Joon-Woo's phone rang. He looked at the screen and frowned. "My father," he said. "I need to take this." He stepped out onto the balcony, but Zara could hear his voice rising, speaking rapid Korean. When he came back inside, his expression was troubled. "What's wrong?" Zara asked. "Nothing, just business." But he wouldn't meet her eyes. That night, as they lay in bed, Joon-Woo held her tighter than usual. "Promise me something," he said into the darkness. "What?" "Whatever happens, remember that I love you." Zara's stomach twisted with sudden fear. "Joon-Woo, what's going on?" "Nothing. I just want you to know." But Zara knew better. Something was coming. Something that would test everything they had built. The knock on Joon-Woo's door came at 8 in the morning. Zara was making coffee in the kitchen, wearing one of his shirts, her hair still messy from sleep. Joon-Woo was helping Tae-min get dressed for school. Neither of them expected to open the door and find an older Korean man standing there, his face hard with disapproval. "Father," Joon-Woo said, his voice carefully neutral. "What are you doing here?" Chairman Park pushed past his son without invitation. His eyes swept the apartment and landed on Zara in the kitchen. His lip curled. "So it's true," he said in English, clearly for Zara's benefit. "You're throwing away everything for her." "Father, not now. Tae-min is here." "Grandfather." The boy ran out, hugging the old man's legs. Chairman Park's expression softened briefly as he patted his grandson's head. Then it hardened again as he looked at Joon-Woo. "We need to talk, now." Zara set down her coffee mug. "I should go." "No," Joon-Woo said firmly. He crossed to her, taking her hand. "You're part of my life. You stay." Chairman Park's eyes narrowed at their joined hands. "You're making a mistake, son. This woman is not suitable." "Excuse me?" Zara's voice was quiet but dangerous. "Father," Joon-Woo warned, but Chairman Park ignored him. "What do you do for a living, Miss Uwazi?" "I'm a teacher." "A teacher?" He said it like it was a disease. "And you come from where? Africa?" "Rwanda." "So you have no family here, no connections, no money." Chairman Park turned to his son. "Can't you see what she wants?" Joon-Woo's jaw clenched. "Stop, now. She's using you for your money, just like Sun-hee did. Have you learned nothing?" "I am standing right here," Zara said, her voice shaking with anger. "And I don't want his money. I didn't even know who he was when I found Tae-min." "A convenient story. It's the truth." Chairman Park scoffed. He looked at Joon-Woo. "I'm having dinner with you tonight at the club in Dallas. We'll discuss this properly." "I'm not discussing Zara like she's a business deal." "Then I'll discuss your business instead. The board has concerns about your recent behavior, skipping meetings, distracted during calls, all because of her." "My work performance hasn't suffered." "Not yet, but it will." Chairman Park moved toward the door. 8 o'clock. Don't be late, and bring her if you must. Let's see if she can handle our world." He left, taking Tae-min with him to drop at school. The apartment felt cold in his wake. Zara sank onto the couch, her hands trembling. Maybe he's right. "Don't." Joon-Woo sat beside her, pulling her close. "Don't let him get in your head. He's your father. He controls your company." "He doesn't control my heart." But Zara could see the worry in his eyes. She knew this was just the beginning. That night, she dressed carefully for the dinner. She chose a simple black dress, elegant but not trying too hard. She styled her hair and applied minimal makeup. But when she looked in the mirror, she saw what Chairman Park would see: an outsider, someone who didn't belong. The country club was exactly what she expected. Old money, old traditions, and eyes that followed her the moment she walked in. Zara felt every stare, heard every whisper. Joon-Woo held her hand tight. "Ignore them." How can I? Chairman Park was waiting at a private table. He wasn't alone. 3 other older Korean men sat with him, all wearing expensive suits and unwelcoming expressions. "Gentlemen," Chairman Park said, "this is my son's girlfriend, Zara Uwasa." The way he said girlfriend made it sound temporary, disposable. Dinner was torture. The men spoke in Korean, occasionally switching to English to make pointed comments. They asked Zara questions designed to make her feel small. Where did she go to school? What did her family do? How much money did she make? Zara answered with dignity, but each question felt like a cut. Joon-Woo's hand found hers under the table, squeezing gently. It was the only thing keeping her grounded. Finally, Chairman Park dropped his bomb. "Joon-Woo, the board has made a decision. Either you end this inappropriate relationship or we remove you as CEO of Park Technologies." Zara felt Joon-Woo stiffen beside her. "You can't do that," he said. "Now we can. You're making the company look bad, dating someone so unsuitable. It reflects poorly on our brand. My personal life is not the board's business. Everything you do is our business. You carry the Park name." Joon-Woo stood abruptly. "We're leaving." He pulled Zara up and they walked out together. Zara could feel Chairman Park's eyes burning into her back. In the car, Joon-Woo gripped the steering wheel so hard his knuckles turned white. "I'm sorry," he said. "I'm so sorry you had to endure that." "It's not your fault." "It is. I should have protected you better." "Joon-Woo." Zara touched his face, making him look at her. "I can handle mean words, but can you handle losing your company? I don't care about the company if it means losing you. You should care. You built it. It's your legacy for Taemin. You're both my legacy now." They drove home in silence. Neither of them noticed the black sedan following 3 cars behind. The next morning, everything got worse. Zara was at school when her phone buzzed with a text from Joon-Woo. "Don't come over tonight. Sun-hee is here. She wants to see Taemin." Zara's blood ran cold. Sun-hee, the ex-wife. She wanted to text back, to ask what was happening, but she was in the middle of teaching. The day dragged on forever. When school finally ended, Zara couldn't help herself. She drove to Joon-Woo's apartment. She knocked quietly and heard voices inside. Joon-Woo's voice firm and cold, and a woman's voice soft and pleading. The door opened. Joon-Woo's eyes widened when he saw Zara. "What are you doing here? I told you not to come. I needed to see you." Behind Joon-Woo, a beautiful Korean woman appeared. She was elegant in a designer dress, her hair perfect, her makeup flawless. She looked at Zara with cold calculation. "So you're the new one," Sun-hee said in perfect English. "You don't look like much." "Sun-hee," Joon-Woo warned. "What? I'm just making an observation." Sun-hee smiled, but it didn't reach her eyes. "Joon-Woo, we need to finish talking. Alone." "There's nothing more to say. Please, for Taemin." Sun-hee's eyes filled with tears. "I made mistakes, but I'm his mother. I want to be in his life again." Joon-Woo looked torn. Zara could see him struggling between anger at his ex-wife and wanting to do right by his son. "I'll come back later," Zara said quietly. "Zara, wait." But she was already walking away. She heard Joon-Woo call her name, but she didn't stop. She couldn't. The image of Sun-hee, so perfect and polished, standing in his apartment like she belonged there, was burned into her mind. In her car, Zara let the tears fall. She knew she was being irrational. Joon-Woo loved her. He had said so. But doubt was a powerful thing, and Chairman Park had planted the seeds well. Her phone rang. "Joon-Woo," she answered. "I'm fine." "No, you're not. Come back, please." "Is she still there?" A pause. "Yes. But Zara, it's not what you think." "What am I supposed to think? Your father hates me. Your ex-wife is back. Maybe they're all right. Maybe I don't belong in your world." "Don't say that. You're my world." "Am I? Or am I just the woman who happened to find your son? Would you even notice me if that hadn't happened?" "That's not fair." Maybe not, but it's what I'm feeling. Silence, then Joon-Woo's voice, rough with emotion. Come back tonight, after Tae-min is asleep. We need to talk face to face. Okay. Zara hung up and drove home. She showered, changed, and tried to calm her racing heart. By the time she drove back to Joon-Woo's apartment at 10 o'clock, she'd convinced herself that they could work through this. Joon-Woo opened the door before she could knock. He pulled her inside and kissed her desperately. I thought you might not come back, he said against her lips. I'm here. Sun-hee is gone. She won't be back. I made that clear. What did she want? To apologize. To see Tae-min. She says she's changed. Joon-Woo's expression was hard. I don't believe her. I told her she could see Tae-min supervised once a month, but that's it. She's not part of our lives. Our lives? Yes, ours. You, me, and Tae-min. Joon-Woo cupped her face. I love you, Zara. Only you. My father can threaten whatever he wants. Sun-hee can play whatever games she wants. None of it changes how I feel. Zara wanted to believe him. She did believe him, but fear still whispered in the back of her mind. Joon-Woo must have seen it in her eyes because he kissed her again, harder this time. Let me prove it to you. He led her to the bedroom. They made love with an edge of desperation, both trying to erase the day's pain. Joon-Woo's hands were everywhere, his mouth trailing fire across her skin. Zara clung to him, losing herself in sensation. Afterward, wrapped in his arms, she finally felt safe again. I'm not going anywhere, Joon-Woo murmured into her hair. No matter what happens, I'm choosing you. Always you. Zara closed her eyes and tried to believe it, but somewhere in the back of her mind, she knew the battle was just beginning. The universe proved her right the very next day when photos appeared online. Photos of Joon-Woo and Sun-hee outside his apartment building. The angle made it look like they were standing close, intimate. The caption read, Park Technologies CEO reconciling with ex-wife? Zara stared at her phone screen, feeling her world tilt. Her phone buzzed with a call from Joon-Woo. She didn't answer. It buzzed again. A text. It's not what it looks like. Please call me. But Zara couldn't. Not yet. She needed to think, to breathe, to figure out if love was really enough when the whole world seemed determined to tear them apart. The next 2 weeks were a nightmare. Sun-hee filed for partial custody of Tae-min, claiming that Joon-Woo was exposing their son to unstable influences by dating Zara. The legal papers cited Zara by name, painting her as an unfit presence in the boy's life. This is insane, Zara said, reading the documents at Joon-Woo's kitchen table. I've never done anything to hurt Tae-min. I know. Joon-Woo rubbed his face tiredly. My lawyer says it's a manipulation tactic. Sun-hee knows she won't win, but she's trying to pressure me. Into what? Leaving you? Zara felt sick. Maybe you should. Don't even joke about that. But Zara wasn't joking. The stress was visible on Joon-Woo's face. He was working late every night with lawyers. His father was threatening to remove him from the company. And now Tae-min was having nightmares, crying out for his mother in his sleep. I'm causing problems for everyone, Zara said quietly. Joon-Woo moved to her side, kneeling in front of her chair. You're not causing anything. They are, and we'll fight them together. Zara wanted to believe him, but every day brought new challenges. Chairman Park showed up at her school, asking to speak with her in private. Against her better judgment, Zara agreed to meet him at a nearby coffee shop. The old man got straight to the point. $1 million. Zara blinked. What? Leave my son alone and I'll give you $1 million. Tax-free. You can go anywhere, do anything. But you leave Austin and never contact Joon-Woo or Tae-min again. For a moment, Zara couldn't speak. Then anger, hot and fierce, flooded through her. I don't want your money. Everyone has a price. Not me. Be smart, Miss Uwaz. You're a teacher. You'll never make this kind of money in your lifetime. Take it. Start fresh somewhere else. Find a man from your own culture." Zara stood up, her hands shaking. "I love your son. Not his money, not his name. Him. And I love Tae-min like he's my own child. No amount of money will change that." She walked out, leaving Chairman Park staring after her in surprise. When she told Joon-Woo about it that night, he was furious. "He had no right to do that. I'll talk to him." "Don't. It won't change anything." Zara sank onto his couch. "He thinks I'm using you." "He's wrong." "Is he?" Zara looked at Joon-Woo. "I have nothing, Joon-Woo. No family here, no money, no connections. From the outside, it does look like I'm using you. I don't care what it looks like. But I do. I care that Tae-min is having nightmares. I care that your company is suffering. I care that your whole life is falling apart because of me." Joon-Woo sat beside her, pulling her close. "My life is better because of you. Don't let them make you doubt that." But doubt had already taken root, growing like weeds in a garden. The next blow came at a business event in Dallas. Joon-Woo invited Zara to accompany him to a technology conference, wanting to show her his world. She dressed carefully, hoping to make a good impression. The event was huge, hundreds of people in expensive clothes talking about millions of dollars. Zara felt out of place immediately. Joon-Woo introduced her to his colleagues, his hand warm on her back. Most were polite, some were curious, a few were openly hostile. Then they ran into him, Kevin Chen, the man who had been Joon-Woo's business partner, the man who had cheated with Sun-hee. "Joon-Woo," Kevin said with a smile that didn't reach his eyes. "Good to see you, and this must be your new girlfriend, the one from Africa, right?" "Rwanda," Zara corrected. Right. Fascinating." Kevin's smile widened. "You know, I heard something interesting about you. Someone said you used to work as a maid before becoming a teacher. Is that true?" Zara felt her face heat. It was true. When she first came to America, she had cleaned houses to pay for graduate school. But the way Kevin said it made it sound shameful. "I worked hard to get where I am," she said evenly. "Oh, I'm sure you did. It's quite a jump from cleaning houses to dating billionaires. You must be very talented." The implication was clear. Zara felt like she'd been slapped. Joon-Woo stepped forward, his face dark with anger. "Watch your mouth, Kevin." "What?" "I'm just making conversation." Kevin looked around at the crowd that had gathered. "I mean, we're all wondering the same thing, aren't we? How a nobody from nowhere managed to land the great Joon-Woo Park." "That's enough," Joon-Woo said dangerously. But Kevin wasn't done. "Although, I guess you have a type. Sun-hee was also after your money. At least this one is honest about where she comes from." Joon-Woo's fist connected with Kevin's jaw before anyone could react. Kevin stumbled backward, blood trickling from his mouth. The room went silent. Security guards rushed forward, pulling Joon-Woo back. People stared. Camera phones appeared, capturing everything. Zara stood frozen, mortified. This was her fault, all of it. In the car afterward, Joon-Woo's hands shook on the steering wheel. "I'm sorry," he said. "I shouldn't have hit him, but the things he said about you—" "He was right, though," Zara said quietly. "I am a nobody from nowhere. I did clean houses. Why are you with someone like me?" "Because you're smart and kind and beautiful. Because you saved my son. Because I love you." "Is that enough?" "It has to be." But that night, lying in bed, Zara couldn't shake Kevin's words. She was starting to wonder if love really was enough when the whole world was against them. The video of Joon-Woo punching Kevin went viral. The business press had a field day. Park Technology's CEO loses control at conference. Billionaire fights over controversial girlfriend. The headlines were brutal. Chairman Park called an emergency board meeting. Joon-Woo was censured. His father gave him an ultimatum: end the relationship with Zara or step down as CEO. "I'll step down," Joon-Woo said calmly. His father looked shocked. "You can't be serious." "I am." The company isn't worth losing her. You're throwing away everything for a woman you barely know. I know everything I need to know. Zara heard about the meeting from Joon-Woo that night. He told her casually, like it didn't matter. But she could see the tension in his shoulders, the worry in his eyes. "You can't give up your company for me," she said. "Why not? It's just a job." "It's not just a job. It's your legacy. Your father's legacy. Taemin's future. Taemin's future is having a father who chooses love over money. I want him to learn that some things are more important than business." Zara's eyes filled with tears. "I love you. I love you too. So much." They kissed, and the kiss turned heated. Joon-Woo backed her against the wall, his hands urgent on her body. They made love right there, standing up, desperate and intense. It was like they were trying to erase the world through touch, to prove that nothing else mattered except this connection between them. Afterward, Joon-Woo carried her to bed. They made love again, slower this time, savoring each other. But even wrapped in his arms, Zara couldn't shake the feeling that they were fighting a losing battle. The final straw came 3 days later. Zara was at school when her phone buzzed with a news alert. She almost ignored it, but something made her look. The headline made her blood run cold. Park Technologies CEO spotted with ex-wife at family court. Reconciliation in progress? The photo showed Joon-Woo and Sun-hee leaving the courthouse together. They weren't touching, but the angle made them look close, intimate, like a couple. Zara's hands shook as she read the article. It detailed Sun-hee's custody case and speculated that Joon-Woo was considering reconciling with his ex-wife for the sake of his son. Zara knew it wasn't true. It couldn't be true, but seeing the photo, seeing them together, brought all her doubts flooding back. Her phone rang. "Joon-Woo!" She didn't answer. He called again and again. She turned off her phone. That afternoon, Zara went home and stared at her apartment. She had been so happy here, but now it felt like a prison of her own making. What was she doing? She had left Rwanda to escape family pressure, to build her own life. And here she was, trapped in the same kind of drama she had run from. Maybe everyone was right. Maybe she didn't belong in Joon-Woo's world. Her phone, turned back on, rang immediately. "Joon-Woo." This time she answered. "Where have you been?" "I've been calling for hours," he said, his voice frantic. "I saw the photo." A pause. "Zara, it's not what it looks like. We were at custody mediation. Her lawyer and my lawyer were right there. The photo is deliberately misleading." "I know. Then why didn't you answer your phone?" "Because I'm tired, Joon-Woo. I'm tired of fighting, tired of being hated, tired of causing problems in your life." "You're not causing problems. They are. It's the same thing. As long as I'm with you, there will be problems." "So what are you saying?" Zara took a deep breath. "I think I should leave Austin, go back to Rwanda or move somewhere else. Start fresh." "No." Joon-Woo's voice was sharp. "Don't say that. It's for the best." "For who? Not for me, not for Taemin. He loves you, Zara. He asks about you every day." "He'll forget me." "I won't." Zara felt tears streaming down her face. "This is too hard." "Then we'll make it easier. Together. Please, Zara, don't give up on us." There was a knock on her door. Zara opened it, still holding the phone, and found Joon-Woo standing there. He must have been calling from his car. He lowered his phone, his eyes red like he'd been crying too. "Don't leave me," he said. Zara dropped her phone and went to him. They crashed together, kissing desperately. Joon-Woo kicked the door shut and pressed her against it, his hands in her hair, on her face, everywhere. "I can't lose you," he said between kisses. "I'm scared." "Me too, but we can be scared together." They made love against the door, then on the floor, unable to wait long enough to reach the bedroom. It was raw and emotional, both of them pouring their fear and love into every touch. Afterward, lying on the carpet, Joon-Woo held her tight. "I'll fix this," he promised. "I'll make it right. Just don't leave me." "I won't," Zara whispered. "I'm sorry, I won't." But even as she said it, she wondered if some promises were impossible to keep because the universe wasn't done testing them yet. Zara woke up the next morning with Joon-Woo's arm around her waist. They had eventually made it to the bed sometime around 3 in the morning, exhausted from talking and loving and crying. Her apartment felt different now, smaller somehow, like it was closing in on her. She carefully extracted herself from Joon-Woo's embrace and went to the kitchen to make coffee. While it brewed, she looked around at the space she had called home for 3 years, the books on her shelves, all about teaching and children's literature, the photos on the wall from her first year in Austin when everything had seemed full of possibility, the small plant by the window that never quite thrived, no matter how much she cared for it. Everything felt temporary now, like she was living in a waiting room, suspended between a past she couldn't return to and a future she couldn't quite reach. Her phone buzzed. A text from her friend Angela, another teacher at the school. "Girl, are you okay? I saw the news articles. Call me." Zara sighed. Of course Angela had seen them. Everyone had seen them. She was becoming famous for all the wrong reasons. The African woman trying to steal a Korean billionaire, the home wrecker, the gold digger. Never mind that Sun-hee had left first. Never mind that Zara hadn't known who Joon-Woo was when she found Tae-min. Never mind any of the truth. The story people wanted to believe was always simpler, more dramatic, more cruel. "What are you thinking about?" Joon-Woo's voice came from behind her. Zara turned. He stood in the doorway wearing only his boxer shorts, his hair messy from sleep. Even exhausted and worried, he was beautiful. Everything. She admitted. "Nothing. I don't know." Joon-Woo crossed to her, wrapping his arms around her from behind. "We're going to be okay." "You keep saying that." "Because it's true." Zara wanted to believe him, but before she could respond, both their phones started ringing simultaneously. They looked at each other, the same fear in both their eyes. Nothing good ever came from phones ringing at 6 in the morning. Joon-Woo answered his. His expression changed from concerned to shocked to furious in the space of seconds. "I'll be right there," he said, hanging up. He looked at Zara. "It's Tae-min. He ran away from my father's house." Zara's heart stopped. "What?" "My father said Tae-min was crying all night, saying he wanted to see you. This morning they woke up and he was gone." Joon-Woo was already pulling on his clothes. "We have to find him." They rushed out together, Joon-Woo calling his father for more details, while Zara tried to think like a scared 5-year-old boy. Where would he go? The answer hit her like lightning. "He's coming here." "What?" "To my apartment. He's been here before with you. He knows the address. He's trying to find me." Joon-Woo immediately turned the car around, heading back to Zara's building. They arrived to find a small figure huddled on her doorstep, shivering in pajamas and a light jacket. "Tae-min!" Zara ran to him, gathering him into her arms. The boy burst into tears. "Miss Zara, I missed you." "Oh, sweetheart, I missed you too." Joon-Woo joined them, kneeling beside his son. "Tae-min, you can't run away like that. We were so scared." "I'm sorry, Appa, but grandfather said Miss Zara was leaving forever. He said you were going to forget about her and everything would go back to normal. I don't want normal. I want Miss Zara." Zara's eyes met Joon-Woo's over the boy's head. The pain in his expression mirrored what she felt. "I'm not going anywhere," Zara said, surprised to realize she meant it. "I promise." They took Tae-min inside. Zara made him hot chocolate while Joon-Woo called his father to let him know the boy was safe. She could hear his voice rising, speaking angry Korean into the phone. When he hung up, his expression was dark. "My father admitted he told Tae-min you were leaving. He thought it would help Tae-min adjust to the idea." "That's cruel." "That's my father. He thinks he's protecting us by pushing you away." Taemin fell asleep on Zara's couch, exhausted from his adventure. Zara covered him with a blanket and sat beside him, stroking his hair. "He's so brave," she said softly. "Walking all this way by himself? He could have been hurt." "He loves you," Joon-Woo said. "We both do." Something shifted in Zara's chest. Looking at Taemin's peaceful, sleeping face, she realized she couldn't leave. Not just for Joon-Woo, but for this little boy who had trusted her enough to walk across the city to find her. "I'm not running anymore," she said. "Whatever happens, I'm staying. We'll fight this together." Joon-Woo kissed her, soft and grateful. "Thank you." But their moment of peace was shattered by a knock on the door. Zara opened it to find 2 police officers standing there. "Ma'am, we need to speak with Joon-Woo Park. Is he here?" Joon-Woo appeared behind Zara. "I'm here. What's this about?" "Sir, we've received a report of child endangerment. May we come in?" Child endangerment. The words hit Zara like a physical blow. She stepped aside, letting the officers enter. They saw Taemin sleeping on the couch and their expressions changed. "Sir, we need to take a statement. There's been an accusation that you're exposing your son to an unstable home environment." "Who made this accusation?" Joon-Woo demanded. But Zara already knew. Sun-hee. She was escalating, using every weapon she had. The next few hours were a blur of questions and explanations. Child Protective Services was called. They examined Taemin, talked to him gently, inspected Joon-Woo's home. Through it all, Zara sat in numb silence, watching her worst fears come true. This was her fault. Her presence in their lives had brought all this chaos. But then something unexpected happened. The social worker assigned to the case, a kind-faced woman named Ruth, pulled Joon-Woo aside after interviewing Taemin. "Mr. Park, I need you to understand something. Your son is well-adjusted, happy, and clearly loved. He talks about Miss Uwaza with such affection. Whatever accusations have been made, I see no evidence of endangerment or instability." "Then we're clear?" "From my perspective, yes. The case will be closed. However, I advise you to get a good family lawyer. Someone is trying very hard to cause problems for you." After they left, Joon-Woo held Zara while she cried tears of relief. "It's going to be okay," he murmured. But Zara knew they needed more than reassurances now. They needed proof. They needed evidence that Sun-hee and Chairman Park were working together to destroy them. The evidence arrived 2 days later in the form of a package left at Joon-Woo's office. No return address, just a manila envelope with his name on it. Inside was a USB drive. Joon-Woo called Zara immediately. "Come to my office. Now, you need to see this." When she arrived, he was sitting at his computer, his face pale. On the screen was a paused video showing Sun-hee and Chairman Park sitting in what looked like a private office. "Where did you get this?" Zara asked. "I don't know, it was delivered anonymously, but look." He pressed play. The video showed Sun-hee and Chairman Park talking, their voices clear. "Are you sure this will work?" Sun-hee asked. "It has to," Chairman Park replied. "We need to make my son see reason. This African woman is ruining everything. Our family's reputation, the company's image, everything we've built." "I don't actually want custody of Taemin," Sun-hee admitted. "The boy barely knows me. But if this forces Joon-Woo to pay me more money to go away, then it's worth it." "Exactly. We pressure him from all sides until he has no choice but to end this relationship. Then you disappear again, and we can all move forward." "What if he doesn't break up with her?" "Then I'll remove him from the company. He'll have nothing. No money, no power, no legacy. That woman won't want him anymore when he's just another struggling businessman." The video ended. Zara stared at the screen in shock. "They've been working together this whole time. My father and my ex-wife plotting against us." Joon-Woo's voice was cold with fury, using Taemin as a pawn. "Who sent this?" "I don't know, but I'm grateful they did." Joon-Woo immediately called his lawyer. The video was authenticated and prepared for court. Within 24 hours, Sun Hee's custody case imploded. The judge, seeing evidence of manipulation and false accusations, not only denied her petition, but restricted her visitation rights even further. Chairman Park was forced into a humiliating board meeting where the video was shown to all the members. His attempt to remove Joon-Woo as CEO failed spectacularly when the board realized he had been acting out of personal vendetta rather than business interests. The news spread quickly. The media that had been so eager to paint Zara as a villain now scrambled to tell the real story. Billionaire CEO fights family conspiracy to protect love. Korean-American executive stands by Rwandan girlfriend despite family pressure. The tide had turned. 3 days after the video surfaced, Chairman Park appeared at Joon-Woo's door. Zara was there, cooking dinner with Tae-min. She tensed when she saw the old man ready for another fight. But Chairman Park looked different, older, tired, almost humble. "May I come in?" he asked in English. Joon-Woo hesitated, then nodded. Chairman Park sat down carefully. He looked at Zara for a long moment, then spoke. "I was wrong about you." Zara blinked, shocked. "I let my fears control me," he continued. "My fear of what happened with Sun Hee. My fear of losing my son. My fear of what people would think." He paused. "I never stopped to see who you really are. A woman who saved my grandson. A woman who loves my son. A woman who has endured my cruelty with grace and dignity." "Thank you," Zara said quietly, not sure what else to say. Chairman Park turned to Joon-Woo. "I was trying to protect you from making another mistake, but I was the one making mistakes. I'm sorry, son." Joon-Woo's expression softened slightly. "You hurt the woman I love. You used Tae-min as a weapon. I'm not sure sorry is enough." "I know, but I hope, in time, you'll let me try to make it right." Tae-min, who had been watching quietly, suddenly ran to his grandfather and hugged him. "It's okay, grandfather. Miss Zara says everyone makes mistakes." Chairman Park's eyes filled with tears. He held his grandson close, and over the boy's head he looked at Zara with genuine respect. "You're a wise woman. My son is lucky to have you." That night, after Chairman Park left and Tae-min was asleep, Zara and Joon-Woo lay in bed holding each other. "I can't believe it's over," Zara said. "It's not completely over. We still have work to do rebuilding relationships and dealing with the media, but the worst is behind us." "Your father actually apologized." "He did. And knowing my father, that took everything he had." Zara was quiet for a moment. "Who do you think sent the video?" "I have my suspicions. Probably someone on the board who was tired of my father's manipulation. Or maybe someone who works for Sun Hee and got disgusted with her schemes. Does it matter? I guess not." They made love slowly that night, celebrating their survival. Every touch was a promise. Every kiss was a vow. They had fought for this, earned this, and nothing would tear them apart now. Afterward, Zara lay in Joon-Woo's arms and finally felt peace. The road ahead wouldn't be easy, but they would walk it together. That was enough. 3 months passed like a dream. Chairman Park kept his promise and began rebuilding his relationship with Joon-Woo and Zara. He took them to dinner, attended Tae-min's school events, and even asked Zara's advice on company diversity initiatives. He wasn't perfect, but he was trying. Sun Hee disappeared from their lives. The exposure of her schemes had destroyed her reputation. Last Joon-Woo heard she had moved to California with a new boyfriend. Good riddance. Work at school became easier for Zara. The other teachers, who had been cold when the scandal broke, now greeted her warmly. Some even apologized for their judgment. Zara accepted their apologies with grace, understanding that everyone made assumptions based on headlines. But the best change was in their home life. Joon-Woo, Zara, and Tae-min had settled into a comfortable rhythm. Zara stayed at Joon-Woo's penthouse most nights now. She helped with homework, made breakfast, and tucked Tae-min in. The boy had started calling her Miss Zara Mama, which made her heart melt every time. One evening, Joon-Woo suggested a walk in the park, the same park where Zara had found Taemin almost 6 months ago. "Are you feeling nostalgic?" Zara teased as they walked hand in hand. Taemin ran ahead of them, chasing pigeons. "Something like that," Joon-Woo said mysteriously. They reached the oak tree where she had found the scared little boy on that rainy night. Everything looked different now. The tree was bare for winter and the ground was dry and covered in fallen leaves. "Do you remember that night?" Joon-Woo asked. "How could I forget? It changed my life." "Mine too." Taemin ran back to them, grinning. "Appa now?" "Now," Joon-Woo confirmed. The boy reached into his jacket pocket and pulled out a small velvet box. He held it up to Zara, bouncing on his toes with excitement. Zara's breath caught. "What is this?" Joon-Woo took the box from his son and dropped to one knee. Right there under the tree where their story began, he opened the box to reveal a stunning ring, a diamond surrounded by smaller blue stones that reminded Zara of the Rwandan sky. "Zara Uwasa," Joon-Woo said, his voice thick with emotion. "6 months ago you saved my son, but you did more than that. You saved me too. You brought light back into our lives. You showed me what real love looks like. Love that's patient and kind and brave enough to fight for what matters." Tears were already streaming down Zara's face. "I know it's only been 6 months," Joon-Woo continued, "but I've never been more sure of anything in my life. I want to wake up next to you every morning. I want to build a life with you. I want to make you Taemin's mother officially. I want everything with you for the rest of my life. Will you marry me?" "Yes!" Zara couldn't get the word out fast enough. "Yes, yes, yes!" Joon-Woo slid the ring onto her finger and stood, pulling her into his arms. They kissed while Taemin jumped around them, cheering. "She said yes! She said yes!" People in the park had stopped to watch. They burst into applause. Zara laughed through her tears, hiding her face in Joon-Woo's chest. "I love you," he murmured into her hair. "I love you too, so much." That night, after Taemin had finally fallen asleep, still talking excitedly about the wedding, Joon-Woo carried Zara to their bedroom. "Our bedroom now," he corrected when she called it his. "Everything I have is yours." They made love with joy and celebration, their bodies knowing each other perfectly now. Joon-Woo whispered Korean words of love that Zara didn't understand but felt deeply. She responded in Kinyarwanda, her native language, telling him he was her home. "Teach me," Joon-Woo said afterward, holding her close. "Teach me your language. I want to know all of you." "I will, and you'll teach me more Korean. Taemin is already teaching me words. We'll be a multilingual family. We'll be a perfect family." The wedding planning consumed the next 6 months. Zara wanted to honor both her Rwandan heritage and Joon-Woo's Korean culture. They decided on a ceremony that blended both traditions, with a Rwandan wedding ceremony followed by a traditional Korean payback ceremony. The guest list became complicated. Zara's family in Rwanda had heard about the engagement through social media. Her mother called for the first time in 3 years, crying and apologizing. "I was wrong to force you to marry that man," she said through tears. "I was wrong to cut you off when you refused. I've missed you so much." Zara forgave her parents, though the wounds were still tender. They couldn't afford to come to America for the wedding, so Joon-Woo arranged for them to attend via video call. The gesture made Zara love him even more. Chairman Park threw himself into wedding preparations with surprising enthusiasm. He wanted to pay for everything, but Joon-Woo insisted they split the costs. It became a bonding experience for father and son, healing old wounds. The wedding day arrived exactly 1 year after that rainy night when everything changed. Zara wore a traditional Rwandan wedding dress called a mushanana, made of silk with elaborate beading. For the Korean ceremony, she changed into a hanbok, a beautiful traditional dress that Chairman Park's wife had worn at her own wedding. Joon-Woo looked handsome in his suit for the Rwandan ceremony, then changed into a traditional Korean hanbok for the payback. The ceremony was held in a beautiful garden in Austin. Tae-min was the ring bearer, taking his job very seriously. He wore a miniature suit and walked down the aisle with intense concentration, making everyone smile. When Joon-Woo and Zara exchanged vows, there wasn't a dry eye in the audience. "You are my unexpected blessing," Joon-Woo said. "You came into my life when I least expected it and gave me hope again. I promise to love you, honor you, and protect you for all my days." "You are my home," Zara replied. "You taught me that family isn't just blood. It's the people who choose to love you. I promise to love you, support you, and build a beautiful life with you." They sealed their vows with a kiss that went on a little too long, making Tae-min giggle loudly. The reception was a blend of cultures. They served both Korean barbecue and Rwandan dishes. The music ranged from traditional Korean drums to African rhythms. People danced and laughed and celebrated love. Chairman Park gave a speech that made everyone cry. "I almost lost my son because of my stubbornness," he said. "I judged a woman without knowing her heart, but Zara showed me what true character looks like. She faced hatred with dignity. She answered cruelty with kindness. She loved my son and grandson when it cost her everything. I'm honored to call her daughter." Zara's parents appeared on a large screen via video call. Her mother spoke through tears. "My daughter, you are braver than I ever was. You followed your heart across the world. You fought for your love when everyone told you to give up. I'm so proud of you. I'm sorry I didn't support you sooner." The celebration continued late into the night, but eventually Joon-Woo and Zara slipped away to their hotel suite, eager to begin their honeymoon. "Mrs. Park," Joon-Woo said, pulling her close. "I'm keeping Uwasi as my middle name," Zara teased. "So technically, I'm Zara Uwasi Park. Even better. You're honoring where you came from while embracing where you're going." They made love as husband and wife, tender and passionate. Every touch was a celebration. Every kiss was a promise. They had fought so hard for this moment, and now it was finally theirs. 1 year later, Zara stood in the same penthouse, looking out at the Austin skyline. Her hand rested on her pregnant belly, feeling their daughter kick. Tae-min, now 7, sat at the kitchen table doing homework. He was thriving in school, speaking 3 languages fluently: English, Korean, and Kinyarwanda. The front door opened, and Joon-Woo walked in, home from work. He immediately crossed to Zara and kissed her, then kissed her belly. "How are my girls today?" he asked. "Active. She's been kicking all afternoon." "She's going to be a soccer player like her brother." Tae-min looked up from his homework. "I'll teach her everything, Appa." Later that evening, after Tae-min was in bed, Joon-Woo and Zara curled up on the couch together. "Are you happy?" he asked. "Happier than I ever thought possible," Zara replied honestly. "Sometimes I think about that rainy night, finding Tae-min in the park. I was just trying to help a scared child. I had no idea I was finding my family." "Destiny," Joon-Woo said. "You were always meant to find us, and you were meant to find me." They sat in comfortable silence, watching the lights of the city twinkle below. Chairman Park had retired from active management of the company, naming Joon-Woo as permanent CEO. The business was thriving. They had launched a new educational technology division inspired by Zara's passion for teaching. Zara had cut back to part-time teaching, preparing for the baby's arrival, but she planned to return to full-time work eventually. Joon-Woo supported whatever she wanted to do, just as she supported him. Their life wasn't perfect. They still had challenges. Cultural differences sometimes caused misunderstandings. Extended family dynamics required navigation. Work-life balance was an ongoing conversation, but they faced everything together, with love and respect and the certainty that they had chosen each other and would keep choosing each other every single day. "I love you," Joon-Woo said, kissing her temple. "I love you too," Zara replied. And in that moment, with her husband's arms around her, their son sleeping safely down the hall, and their daughter growing inside her, Zara knew she had found exactly what she had been searching for when she left Rwanda 5 years ago. Not just love, but home. Not just acceptance, but belonging. Not just survival, but joy. The rain that had brought them together that October night had washed away her old life and cleared the path for this new one, a life richer and fuller than anything she could have imagined. As she drifted off to sleep in Joon-Woo's arms, Zara smiled. Their story had started with a rescue, but it had become so much more. It had become a love story, a family story, a story of two people from different worlds who found each other and built something beautiful together. And the best part? Their story was just beginning. If you enjoyed this story of love conquering all obstacles, please subscribe to our channel for more heartwarming romance stories. Let us know in the comments where you're watching from and what part of Zara and Joon-Woo's journey touched your heart the most. Don't forget to like and share with anyone who believes in the power of true love.